Hello, friend, and welcome to episode number 4, season 2 of the VIP Collective. I am your host, Corinne McDonald, and on today's episode, my guest is Rennie Colelli, president and founder of BBblanc. BBblanc is a live event company servicing your AV, lighting, and entertainment needs. So buckle up and let's go, because this is my conversation with Rennie Colelli. So welcome.
Thank you.
To the Collective podcast. And is this your first podcast?
This is my first podcast.
Yay!
Very excited.
Cool.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. So excited to sit and chat with you guys because you guys are a little bit behind the scenes, but very much so create the scene.
We create event magic.
Right? Event magic, which is the tagline for BBblanc.
Right.
So for everyone listening and or watching, because we are both, we are sitting with Rennie Colelli. And so you are founder of BBblanc.
Yes, founder, president, and now CEO. I've been in the industry since the early 80s, so 35-ish years.
Okay, so you know a few things.
Been an event or two. BBblanc is, we started 2008, so this has been our 11th year. We're just starting our 12th.
Wow.
12 years, yeah.
Okay.
12 years young.
12 years young. Okay, so fill us in. First of all, let's start with a little bit of your background.
So my background. So I started in the industry as just a young kid, 14, 15. I got hand-me-downs from my brothers. They all tried to be a DJ. Because, you know, being a DJ is cool because you get to meet all the girls. But what a lot of people don't know, there's a big before the party and a big after the party.
Right.
Set up, load the truck, go home, all that kind of stuff. So after they got tired of all the work part, I picked up some of the scraps and then I started my attempt at the business. And one thing I found is I love the creative part. So as a young kid, I used to build my own speakers. Yeah. I used to build my own lighting. I used to build my own lighting boards. Things were a lot different back then. We're talking early 80s.
Right.
You know, and play records. So it was a lot more complicated to do an event.
So was this to take to an event, or was this like parties in your basement? What did you do with these?
Yeah, so just I started with whatever got hand-me-down. Then I did a show, and then I wanted to do a better show. So I would build something, and then I would incorporate it into my show, and then build something else. Basically, I'd take all my money and buy more lights and speakers, take all my money, buy more records, and then just keep going.
Reinvest. What did you call yourself?
The company was called Sound Sensation at the time. Cool. And I came up with that name as a dishwasher at Swiss Chalet in the dish pit, washing dishes. So.
Very cool.
So that's where it started, and then I started doing house parties like most people, and then around the age of 18, 19, 20, I discovered weddings. So I used to freelance as a DJ for other companies, as a wedding DJ, and that put me through high school, and then eventually got to university. I opened my own company.
What did you go to school for?
Economics. I went to York. Economics and finance. I should be an investment banker, they say. So, but anyways, this has always been my passion. So I finished school. I got a real job. I worked for the government for 4 years. And I couldn't take it. I was just a natural entrepreneur. I was just totally passionate about my business. And that's it. At the time I was married, I left my full-time job. I just had my son in March. Now it's May. And my last day of work, I had appendicitis, a Friday.
Oh, wow.
So I had 4 shows on the next day. So when I went to the hospital, the doctor goes, "Okay, Mr. Colelli, you have appendicitis. We'll have to operate and take it." I says, "Okay, can you give me something? Because I have to go to work." He goes, No, you can't go to work. So that's how it started. And then that's probably 95. And then I just grew the business I was in there through till 2008, at which point I sold to a partner. And then I started over, 2008. I started over fresh. So BBblanc, bigger and better. And the Blanc is white, fresh start.
So this is what it stands for.
This is what it stands
Bigger,
for.
better, and Blanc is white for fresh start.
Fresh start.
That's creative.
Yes. It's actually kind of interesting. Probably one of the best things that ever happened to me. I didn't know at the time, but was starting over.
Right.
Because all the mistakes I had made, I didn't make them again starting over. I was able to move much, much quicker.
Right.
Avoid a lot of the potholes. 2008, we started with no equipment and no staff. Just a few ideas of what we wanted to do. So again, the good thing that I'd come off 25 years of being in the industry. So a lot of the things you kind of inherit over time, you know? And so this time I got to start fresh. I got to design what I wanted to create and what I wanted to bring back to the industry, and some of the things I wasn't quite finished yet in my last company. So I got to kind of pick those up and keep going. So the first few years were very hard, very hard. I'm talking like day and night, 7 days a week, because I left. I was probably in the market I serviced. We were already at a pretty high level. So, you know, starting again from scratch is quite humbling.
So what did you do when you decided to start BBblanc? Did you reach out to people that you already knew in the industry and said, hey, we've started something new? Or how did you kind of...
It's a funny story, actually, because when I left my old company, there was a period there I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And what actually happened is people from the industry started reaching out to me. And they started saying, hey, I heard this. Is it true? And I go, yeah, it's true. And then, you know, one of my friends that I've known a long time, he says, oh, can you come and see me? So basically they had a venue project they were just starting, and we have known each other for a long time. And he says, hey, look, we have this project. We think you'd be perfect for it. I said, I don't know, I'm not in business right now anymore, right? And he says, well, give it some thought. So I give it some thought, talked to my wife, and we decided to get back in the industry, right? So it was a pretty good start for us. So
so was the project working with that venue?
Yes. So they were opening a brand new property. So this is probably May 2008, and the property was going to open in June of 2009. So we're like a year out. Shells up, but they don't have all the T's crossed, I's dotted yet. So.
Right. So talk to us a little bit about which properties you're working with at the moment, because you guys are exclusive with a few different places in Toronto, right?
So on the venue side, we work with the Toronto Public Library. We work with the Arlington Estate, Chateau Le Parc, the Terrace Banquet Center, Hockley Valley Resort, and the Mississauga Convention Center. Yes.
Okay, so you got quite a few.
So yeah, we're actually. This year we moved out of 3 properties. They've changed ownerships from when we started, so different plan. So everyone agreed best to part ways and move on.
Okay, so let's get into
transition
to the nitty gritty of the audio visual component of it. So what are you doing in each? Like, what's your role in all of the venues?
So basically, what happens with our venue agreements is at some point the venue ownership. And ourselves will get together, and just so everybody knows, like all our venue relationships, I can trace them back. My longest is over 30 years, and then the other ones are anywhere 15 to 20. So every one of those accounts that we have somewhere traces back to a relationship anywhere between 15 and 30 years ago.
Okay.
So basically, the idea with the venue installs is that as the AV production company. Traditionally, what we would do, we would load our truck, we'd drive up, unload, set up the show, and we'd do the event, and everyone would have a great time. And then what happened is we thought it might be better if we start putting some of this stuff that we bring every week, and we start installing it in the ceiling. So aesthetically, it would look a lot better, and it would sound a lot better, and we could program the lighting a lot nicer. So the idea was that would make an investment in the venue and the property and this technology, and we would service their clients, and the clients would get way more value than they could get before when we were rolling up with our truck.
Gotcha.
Right? And it's grown a lot. It's changed a lot since our first properties, but like some of our last projects, the investments are in excess of $1 million of technology that's available to clients for a fraction of the cost that they would normally have to pay pay us to roll in and do
Right,
that
right.
for one night.
So do you still roll to other venues, or are you pretty much just those?
Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about BBblanc and where we are today, 11 years in. So when we started, it was probably 99% like we were doing weddings, and like 1%, 2% we were doing corporate AV. So today, you fast forward 11 years, it's about 35% we do social and weddings, which is about in around 1,000 events a year, weddings and social events. And we do about another 1,000 events on the corporate AV production side.
For the corporate stuff, will you go to the event, or are they in-house for these venues?
Yeah, so all our properties have some component of corporate. So let's say at the library downtown, it's probably 90% of our business there is corporate, 10% is weddings. And then you would flip to the like Arlington Estate, it'd be 90% weddings and 10% corporate.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So really, the venue benefits because we're making this huge technology investment in their property, and the client benefits because they're getting all this value at like a very small price.
Okay.
So, and actually, the newer the property, the more up to date the technology, and it's really pretty spectacular.
Right. It's been nice. Some of the newer builds that have the lighting in the like actually built into the ceiling or into the property, or the video screens that are built in. So now with the new builds, we're seeing kind of that, and that's nice to have. And
you see it's really elevated, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And even the color temperature of the lighting, it's a warm white, it shows nice on the skin for your films and for the photos and even for the food.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so what's something that, if I'm a bride, I'm getting married and I'm going to go to one of your venues, what's something that I would not know that you would like to tell me?
So I think what a bride and groom should understand when they go into some of these venues that we've outfitted is that there's been a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure that things were done properly to enhance their wedding. And you know the saying how it goes, it's like things look so easy, you know.
Exactly. You walk in and
it's like, oh, it's just magic, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's like 35 years of experience. That's like a project that went okay, project that didn't go so good. And then we fine-tuned it. And that's where we are today. So they're trusting the venue and that they can do the job. They have to put the trust in the venue that they made the right decision to hire a partner, because essentially that's what we are with the venue, is we're like their partner. Together with the venue and the audiovisual entertainment company, we're here to create a spectacular evening for the couple.
So if I'm a bride, can I opt not to have AV?
Yeah, I think in all our properties, except for one, everything is optional.
Really?
Yeah, so I mean, some people have very simple requirements.
Regardless, though, you do need speeches, so you're going to have some form of audio.
Yeah,
right?
I guess you're right. Like if it's a wedding, you're going to need something.
Right.
But no one is like being forced to use this or that if they want to bring their own suppliers. The only thing what happens is that at that point, they're not taking advantage of all the considerations that have been put in. It's like, for example, let's just speak for film, right?
Yep.
So the father of the bride is going to go up and say his speech, right? So we have enough light fixtures in the ceiling. We're going to backlight him. We're going to spotlight him. So when you film him, and they're going to watch that over and over the next 5 years and into the decades, right? He's going to look fantastic, right?
It's got a nice...
He's not in the dark. He's the beautiful glow.
Exactly.
So these are things like, how would a bride and groom ever know that? Like they're planning, you know, probably their first major event. How would they ever possibly know that? That's why they need to trust in their venue, and they trust that their venue made the right choice in the supplier that they chose. And like, I mean, a company like ours, it's we're at the forefront of what we do. Like we tend to lead the industry, and we're always pushing the envelope as far as possible. So we've gone over and above in all our recent builds to make sure clients have the best of everything.
I want to stick on lighting for a minute because it's dear to my heart. So every time I show up to a venue, I have a lighting kit ready to go because we get in situations where we're not going to have the podium light.
Right.
And I often feel sad when I see the lights in the ceiling and I know that they haven't opted for a lighting package.
Right.
What is a cost range typically for like a lighting package on a podium? And do you usually suggest that a couple move forward with it, especially if they're having a video team, or just in general?
Yeah, we recommend that the clients, every piece of technology that's available to them in the property, they should take advantage of. Our packages are extremely reasonable. Like if you were to book only a lighting package, it could be $1,500 to $2,000 in some of our higher end venues, and some of our other venues, it could be anywhere between maybe $1,000 and $1,500. But the thing is that, and sometimes we've tried this, is to do an A/B, right? Lights on, lights off, right? So a lot of times people walk in the room and they'll just be awestruck, It's like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. And that's because everything is lit perfectly. And the beauty of lighting is where the lighting is and where the glow is where your eye goes, right? So right now we have a general wash in the room, so we see kind of everything. But in an event setting, we can dim the lights right down and we can focus on the centerpiece, on the head table, on the podium, on the first stands, on the entrance. So that's the magic, like theater,
I agree. Well, and that's the thing with theater in general is lighting. Like with all the movies, and when you study film, you look at lighting and you look at just how it hits a person.
So I think it's a lot, like, you can't always blame the bride and grooms. They just don't know what they don't know, right?
Exactly.
So, when there's planners involved, I think it's been getting really good. A lot of the planners are seeing the value of the lighting and what it brings to the event. And obviously our team, and we work very closely with our venue partners, because before we decide to make these kind of investments, we want to make sure we're partnering with the right venue that sees the value in what we do and sharing that value with their customers, right?
What's a piece of advice you think that maybe a new planner may not understand when talking, being like the mediator between the couple and the venue? What's something that a new planner may not understand about what your services are that they should be relaying to their couple?
I think when planners are working with their customers, so if you would consider us like the experts on lighting in our team, right? A planner is like a generalist because she has to know about audiovisual, she has to know about decor, she has to know about food, she has to know about so many things. And then we have the couple here who's really, they want to have a nice party, right? At the end of the day, and they don't really know everything that's involved or everything that's available to them. So what I think planners should do is trust the experts. So obviously when you start planning, you won't know as much as you know when you're 5 years in or when you're 10 years in, et cetera, et cetera. So when you're not sure, I would ask questions, and I'd probably ask a lot of those questions outside of the bride and groom just to get your skill sets up.
Right.
And I would just make sure you're getting more and more knowledgeable. The other thing is like in anything, there's different levels, right? There's an entry level, there's an intermediate, and then there's advanced. So when you're looking for advice or to learn about what the lighting does or how audiovisual works, just make sure you know what level you're talking to. So you may be speaking to a junior, he can't share as much knowledge as maybe an intermediate or a senior. Now, I would say this to anybody in the industry or new planners, like if you're new to the industry, feel free to reach out to companies like ours. We'd be happy to sit with you. We have a fully functioning showroom, fully equipped with lighting, audio, video, and we can bring your skill sets to maybe very minimal up to a pretty good level, because day of on site, it's just too much going on. There's no real time, right?
Yep.
But we could do those A/B tests. We can show you what it looks like with the lighting on, with the lighting off. We could show you what means warm light or like a more high temperature white, right? And how that affects the color of the flowers or florals or food, right? So there's so much to learn in every area, right? So understanding that, a lot of planners are going to be generalists, they're counting on experts to get the best for their customers. So take advantage of that.
Okay. I like that.
Take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So.
And where are you located?
Our office right now is at 27 in Langstaff, and we are moving in February to a new location.
In that area?
Yeah, we're moving a few blocks away, so we're moving from 15,000 square feet to 45,000.
Okay, so things are getting bigger.
We've been growing, and we're growing better to serve our customers and our partners better. So.
Okay. And double B was bigger, better, was it
Bigger,
not?
better. And so far, so good.
I hope it's all white. So it's bigger, better.
It actually is.
All
You're
white.
right.
Is it?
It is. It is.
Marketing 101. So do you ever meet with couples just on their own, or are you mostly through venues?
So when I started, I was the sales guy, I was the delivery guy, I was the entertainer, I was the technician, everything. So things have kind of changed now. I have a team of 80 staff on payroll, and we have probably a freelance casual pool of over 200 that supports our company.
Wow.
So most of my day today right now is focused on making sure the company is moving forward. We have finances in place and we have the right people. And at this level, a lot of my time is spent just coaching and educating my staff how to handle the challenges with managing 40 to 65 events a week, right?
Wow. So if I am a bride who's getting married at the Evergreen Brickworks,
Yes.
could I call your team and say, I'm in the market for audio video. Can I come meet with you?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you will take couples to come in, meet with you, depending on their venue or where they're
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
And actually, we do a lot of work with some of the top planners, florists in the city. And when they they tend to get very interesting jobs at very interesting locations. Last year we did one in the woods,
Really?
in the woods in Muskoka.
That's
It was
beautiful.
unbelievable.
For ceremony?
Ceremony was right in the trees, and then they had carved out a spot and put a tent
I love that.
in there. It was just like, wasn't a venue, it was just the middle of nowhere. And then some of our planners have just put like events in like unexpected places you would never expect an event to be there.
Yep.
So they're reaching out to us, obviously for our experience and their trust of us working together, but the expertise of our team.
Right.
Like we have a lot of great people. Like I get the luxury of being the leader of the team, but really have to give a lot of credit to my team. They're fantastic.
Your team is up to 80, you said, right now.
We're just around, either we're at 82 or 79.
Are you going to keep growing?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, we have some pretty big plans for the future.
Okay.
And we're really excited. So the good thing is I have a young team. So even if I get like unmotivated a little bit, now I'm more motivated because I left the office today and one of my general manager, he just had a new baby boy.
Yeah.
And they came in with the baby boy is like a couple months old. And then his son is like 2 years old. It's like I have a lot of young people having families and they're passionate about the business. And they have the energy to keep going. So.
Yep. And
Plus, I have my kids involved in the business.
Right. So is it family business or?
I guess so. Yeah. My wife, she works in admin. My daughter works in business development and account management, and my son works in event management. So they're all in there.
Do you have a dog in there too? As the
We
office
do.
mascot?
We have too. The office mascot, Taz.
Oh, Taz.
Tasmanian devil.
Tasmanian. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So what's kind of like an evolution of something you've seen that you can offer like some advice or tidbits about?
Okay, that's a really good question. And I started a long time ago, like in the mid 80s. I was doing DJing weddings in church basements, and they were being catered by the local caterer. And eventually, we worked our way out of there into the event venues, and then those got better, and here we are where we are today. Back in the days when I started, weddings were much simpler. Like whatever the hall came with, that's what you used. Whatever chair they had, tablecloth they provide, everything was very simple. Now, obviously there was always like these amazing high level weddings, but they were nowhere at the frequency that you see them today. So one of the things I wanted to share with people is there's a lot of great advertising out there, and like weddings that we worked on a couple of weeks ago, which were like 4 or 5 days just loading in, getting ready for this wedding, and months of planning with experts around the table. There's not a lot of them, but there's a lot more than when I started out years ago. And I think a lot of couples, brides, grooms, when they're seeing the images, the videos, or the pictures of these events, they're stunningly breathtaking and amazing. People need to understand that is like the top of the top. And to reproduce those events, it's not like a little bit more, it's exponential. So
Cost-wise.
Cost-wise. And how I want to explain that to people, it's like, look, you can drive a really nice BMW or Mercedes, 80, 100,000, right? So exponential is like, I want to drive a Ferrari now. So that's not like 50,000 more. Now that's like hundreds of thousands more. So it's like 300,000 to 500,000. So when you're seeing these type of events, it's important people understand they don't cost a little bit more. They're exponentially more.
Okay.
So take all the pictures with a grain of salt, right? Live and work within your means for your wedding, and it's not a small undertaking, because a lot of times what happens is people show up in our office with all the pretty pictures, right? We like to do this, we like to do that, which is amazing. It's just like it is very expensive to produce these weddings. So that's something to keep in mind.
Right. So they may show you things and then it starts becoming a game of like, what's the budget look like?
Yeah, I think it's just maybe people just don't understand, right?
Yeah.
Like how would someone know like how much it costs to hang a floral arrangement above a dance floor, right? Like it's not something you deal with, right? Daily. And it's very specialized work.
Yeah. It's custom rigging.
Custom rigging.
With
liabilities.
skyjacks, liabilities.
The other thing I want to tell people is, look, when you're planning a wedding, whatever your budget is, like, try to work with it. And I always found the best weddings were where the final product really represented the couple. I love food, I love a good bar, and I love to party. So they emphasize those things. They had good food, they had a great bar, and there was a fantastic band or DJ, and the couple loved having a good time. And it was really, like, you could tell, it was like, this is them, right?
Yep.
The other thing is, like, there's certain things that you spend money on and people will notice, and some things people really won't notice, like the average person, right? So if there's a cash crunch, you can always shift the dollars around.
Right.
I always like to say, just move the money where it makes the most impact. If money's not an object, just do the best of everything.
Right.
Because what's going to happen is everybody you go see, there's levels, right? You go see the lady who creates the films, right? And she can give you this package, or this package.
Right.
You come to our office, we can give you this, or this.
Yeah.
The hall, the bar,
Yeah.
the decor, the floral, like it doesn't end. So you got to kind of pick who you are and how you want your wedding to represent you and your personality. And then you just spend accordingly in the categories, right?
And then that's when I think like the experts come in and say,
Right.
listen, you may not need this as much. Let's reallocate some dollars here.
Yeah.
Depending on what's more important to them.
And just touching on that, and then I think that's where planners can like be a big help for people, to help them like figure that out, and to help people understand like what's involved when they're looking at these pictures. They need some sense of guidance, like if your budget is here, like this might be a little bit outside your budget, but we can get you here. And the other thing is, one thing I wanted to talk to you about is we find that a lot of time, like entertainment shows up on the budget lists, decor, food, beverage, and then they have a line for entertainment. So that's your DJ or your band. But the line for like audio visual doesn't really show up.
Right.
It's not really a consideration. And things have gotten more sophisticated over time. So really, when I started out, I loaded my truck with 2 speakers, a couple of lights, I had my microphone, and everything was great. Everyone was happy, but things have really evolved. And today you might bring in your DJ for, let's say $750 to $2,000, depending on their expertise. And they may just show up. So now who's doing the audio, who's doing the lighting? Are we doing any video? So these are kind of additional components people may not have thought. In the past, traditionally, maybe the DJ would handle most of it. And he probably was really comfortable handling it up to certain levels. But today, like, things have just exploded on what's possible.
That's the thing. I think you guys are working with a lot of different, because we're talking to you on the day of, absolutely, because we want to know about lighting, we want to know about audio. If we're doing a same day edit, we need to know about screens. We need to go in and test the screens prior to people coming into the venue and make sure that everything's working, which it always is. And then with the DJs, you're connecting with them because you're supplying the sound for them. Is that correct?
Yeah, sometimes like people will bring in a specialty act or a specialty DJ. And, obviously we have to work with all these people, right?
And the band. So if the band comes in, are you doing the levels for the band, or is that their technician?
Sometimes the band may bring in their own, and then sometimes we may handle everything and the musicians just walk in.
Right.
The other thing is like BBblanc, we're a full service company. We provide audio, video, lighting, rigging solutions, staging, drapery and set. We also provide DJs, MCs, bands, musicians, acrobats, dancers. There's really photo booths. There's no limit to what we can do for people.
What are the bands called?
Our band is called the BB Collective.
Is it?
It is, yeah.
That's amazing.
That's why the first time I saw your thing, BB VIP, I'm like, a collective.
It's so close.
It's so close,
Okay, cool. So you have it's the full scale of everything.
Yeah, people, whether they're in our venues or we did a few weeks ago a beautiful tent wedding on an estate. And we supplied all the audiovisual support. We supplied the band, the DJ, so we can take care of everything, no problem.
Okay. Since you've been in this world for so many years, what's like a key piece of advice you think you've learned from somebody, or did you have like someone who kind of taught you, like a mentor, as you grew, or was it just the evolution of how you started and kept going?
Everyone has their own kind of appetite for how far they want to go, right? So when I was growing up, there was always some like DJs, local DJs that were like the popular ones, or they were doing something amazing. And then when I started doing it, there was mobile companies that they would do 10 weddings in one night. And I'm like, oh my God, if I could ever do 10 weddings in one night. And now some weekends we do 25 in a night, and it's like, it's unbelievable. So it was just like, some people look at that and they say, well, I'd never want to do that. And I was like, oh yeah, that would be great to do that, right? And then when I got to 10, it was like, okay, can I do 20? So it was like, so I'm always kind of pushing myself. So if you wanted a piece of business advice, I would put this out to people working in the industry. And this is what I told my kids. Both my kids work with me now. I said, look, it's a tough business. There's a lot of sacrifice, right? We're in the B2C business to consumers. They want to meet us nights and weekends. Events are evenings and weekends. So, when you have a family, it gets a little complicated. When you have to attend weddings, unless you're the entertainment, it's like hard, right? But if you're passionate about what you do, you should always do what you're passionate about. But the thing that's helped me along my journey, because I had such an appetite to do more and to do it better and always to be at the forefront, is I have this big appetite for learning. So I'm always either looking to different industries, how did they do it? How do they figure out these challenges, right? So it's like, when I had to pick my name, right? So 2008, they came out with the iPhone, and I'm like, I didn't want to be Sound This or AV Company that. So the idea was, let me pick something like Apple. Like when I say to you today, Apple, you're not thinking Apple, you're thinking of Apple, your phone, right?
Yeah.
So, and that was the same thing that I kind of thought. It says, let's come up with something that anytime people hear BBblanc, they would only think of us, right? Don't be afraid to go to seminars. Like since I started BBblanc and before, I would go to, there's a lot of shows in the States, the special events show, join the associations, network with your local people, learn, reach out to people like me or experienced people in the industry, other people that maybe you have a different relationship with, but don't be afraid. If people call me, I'd be happy to spend some time with them and share some things, help them avoid some potholes, right? Yep. Because the business of being in the event business is different than whatever your business is. So it's like the DJ business has nothing to do with DJing, right? Because in the end, revenue minus expenses equals profit. So you have to manage and navigate all those things, right? And then as your company grows, there's always a lot more things to deal with, right? Staff, liabilities.
Do you find when you're looking for staff, you're always looking for someone who's also wanting to learn all the time, especially when you're working with contractors and freelancers? You want to make sure that they're kind of on top of their game and learning as well?
Yeah. So when we first started BBblanc, our door was like a turnbuckle. People came in, they came out, came in, came out. And it takes time to find the right people, and it takes time to build the right culture, right? Like the passion of learning and creating and doing better, like creating event magic, is not just a tagline. It's actually like, if you come to my place, this is how people work.
Right.
Like they're just passionate about like creating the next level show. If you've seen some of the wedding productions we've done, it's probably evident when you walk in, like, well, this is something different, right?
Yeah.
And even on the corporate side of our business, where we can be a lot more creative, like, customers are coming to us for like inspiration,
Like ideas to make them
ideas
different a
and
little
inspiration,
bit. For their,
because on the corporate side, like they're doing, a conference every year, or 10 meetings a year. So it's like, okay, what's like, let's fire this up. What are we gonna do, right?
Yeah.
So our team is constantly pushing the envelope. And the beauty of our company, like, remember, we started as like the entertainment company, the small DJ audiovisual company, but we're doing events now that are 5-day conferences for 5,000 people, right? Or events for 3,000 people. So the level that we can do, we can bring all this expertise into your day. So one way or another, it's all coming back, whether it's the equipment we use, how the strategy we use around organizing your evening, or the strategy we use around customer service. So this is one big compliment we get from all our brides and crew.
Yep.
It's like, even before the day, they're like, oh, your team has been amazing, because they're there to support and service them, right? So my advice to people out there is, don't stop learning. Read, attend shows, conferences, network with industry experts.
Learn, because it's ever changing.
Yes. When you're starting, how would you know all these things? Like, I've been doing it so long, like, just ask a few questions. Like, I found that too, like, even people from different industries helped me. Like, I worked with people from marketing industries, like older people that were kind of, retired, but
Yep.
they liked my project, so they worked with me and they kind of counseled me and mentored me.
Right.
So it was like, I learned so much, right?
Yeah.
Usually anybody who makes it is happy to send the elevator down
For sure.
to help people back up.
Especially
Because in the end of the day, if you're going to be a success at any business, it's not easy. Even if I was to give people the answers and the formula, like Elon Musk, he gave them the formula for the battery. It's not like the next day everybody's built a battery-powered car.
Yeah.
It's not that simple.
Yeah.
You still have to have the passion and the hunger
Exactly.
to get up every morning and be the best, right?
Exactly.
That's
So you
what
can
you
get
do.
the secret sauce, but
Yeah.
if you don't have the
If you don't have the passion
the
or
drive
the
for
fire.
it, then
So, and then whatever level of the business you want to work at, just try to be the best. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you don't know everything. Just give good service for your customers. Try to work with your suppliers and try to learn all the time, right? And then next event's a little better.
right.
Next event's a little better.
Keep on
And keep
growing.
going.
So if I'm not a bride that's in one of your current venues, but I want to have an AV production team, I can reach out to you guys. What are some of the ballpark or like range of costs that you guys have based on your services?
So if you're not working in one of our venues, most of our venues you can spend anywhere $3,000 to $6,000, and you could get most or all of our in-house services. And if you're going to call us to start from scratch for your wedding, and it's outside of our venues, our pricing starts at $5,000. That would get you like your audio, video, lighting components, or a form of, depending on what you want to emphasize more, and some entertainment factor, so a DJ MC, something like that.
Okay.
So the thing to note is, like, our services are very broad. They go from very simple to over the top. So probably those are the starting numbers, and I think we've done weddings over $250,000 in production value.
Wow.
Yes. So,
Okay.
so like there's everywhere in between.
You've got,
So
yeah, for sure.
so, and those would include A-lister bands that we've brought in, all types of talent, and multi-day events.
Is there a celebrity name drop that we get for someone that you've worked with?
Not today.
Oh. Fine. The next episode.
You know, some of the people that I hire, they just don't want nobody to know. We do some pretty interesting shows, so it's
sure.
pretty exciting.
I'm sure.
So, I mean, look, the really over-the-top ones, they're, you know, we don't do those every day, but we do quite a bit of them, and like the bulk of our weddings are our, everyday weddings, mid to high end.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you finding that you work a lot with planners and people are approaching you from an Instagram standpoint, or is it planners that are reaching out to you, and where are they or is it established relationships you already have?
I think most of our business comes from our wedding business comes from our venue partners. That's our biggest one. Number 2 would be like past use. So we did your wedding, we did your sister's wedding, we're gonna do your brother's wedding. Mm-hmm. So that type of stuff. And then I guess number 3 would be Instagram and social media.
Yeah.
And then when we're looking for business, we generally start with our phone.
Yeah.
So we just go through our phone and we call past clients or past corporate events, and we just start there. How's it going?
Yeah.
Is there anything coming up we can help you with?
Yeah, it's true, keeping those connections alive. I think from a business standpoint, right?
Yeah, and even planners or like industry partners, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes we lose touch. We all get caught up in the day-to-day, and we forget to say, hey, how's it going?
Exactly.
It's like, have you ever called someone you haven't touched base with in a while and said, oh my God, Corinne, thank God you called me, I need you to shoot something for me next week.
Yes,
so,
actually that has happened.
it has happened to me too. So,
and a lot of people are always going, I need new business, and they're cold, for lack of a better term, cold calling. And then it's if you would reach out to a past client. We've actually gotten film gigs that we've filmed the wedding, and then they may have owned a business, and we've filmed other components.
The exact same thing has happened to us. It's like, so we tell all our staff, start with your phone.
Yeah.
Past clients, and then your phone.
Go to your contact list.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Like, you call someone and you say, hey, listen, if you know anybody who needs some help, and he goes, I started a new job. You should.
That's a great piece of advice. Yeah.
So.
Well, I know you guys are super busy, but I appreciate the fact that you've come and sit with me at the black table here.
I think you had a question for me.
I do have a question for you. So I can't let you leave unless I know and hear a question that you have for the audience.
Yes. So I have a question, and it could be for both the planning community, vendor community, or the brides and grooms. And if they could let us know what their biggest challenge is around hiring audiovisual and entertainment services.
Challenge from a standpoint of?
What could we do to make their jobs or their planning experience better?
Okay. So what's something they may have a frustration with, and how can you guys aid that? Yeah,
so for example, we have a blog in our resource section of our website, and there we have blogs on how to budget, the importance of lighting, what's rigging all about, et cetera, et cetera. So we have a lot of resources, but we may be producing stuff that, or have not produced stuff that is a question people want answered. So we'd love to hear that.
Okay. Lovely. Wonderful question. So thank you for coming in and taking the time to sit with me, share some knowledge and advice from the audiovisual component, because it's very important.
Thank you.
I think that everyone who's planning a wedding or who helps to plan a wedding on that aspect of it should know more. So
awesome. Thank you for having us.
You bet.
Thank you to everyone in the industry for working so hard, and we look forward to helping you create event magic.
Let's create some more magic. Cheers.
Salud.
All right, guys, that is it for episode number 4, season 2 of the VIP Collective. If you liked it, please feel free to give us one of these. And you can also hit subscribe so you don't miss next Wednesday's episode. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week on the VIP Collective.